Hello, what's up? Nick here with Living Rich. I just got home from running some errands and a bike ride, and I'm here to have a little chat, or to chat with you today. Yeah, today's been a kind of relaxing day. Had the night off, and so I've kind of taken the day slow, got up right, did all those things that I should be doing in the morning. That sometimes get pushed out of the way, but I was able to get up, meditate, do a little oil pulling, brush my teeth, floss, do the water pick, which is basically water that shoots through your teeth and cleans it all out. And then I had the day off coffee, which was really nice. I replaced it with tea, yerba mate, which gave me it's like almost like a happy buzz. On my way out to errands, I jumped in the ocean spontaneously. I always love when I have the energy to do stuff spontaneously. It's just beautiful, or space and time. Sometimes it's the only time you can do something is spontaneously. So that was my little morning routine. I got up kind of late, so it's still like my midday. My schedule's totally off right now, or totally off the solar, like sun coming up, sun going down schedule, and I adjust to it pretty well. I also love getting up in the morning. So what I was going to talk to you today about was drugs. And I have this concept in my mind, or the structure of this talk today. I think it's a really good subject to talk about. And the premise of it, the whole structure or premise of this conversation is whether you're making drugs or making drugs versus taking drugs. And here's what I mean by that. The only reason why for example, marijuana works, or why LSD works, or DMT, or cocaine, is because we have similar molecules, or we have receptors for these molecules within our physiology, within our brain and our body. And our body at certain times produces those chemicals in doses. And what happens is, I guess we get attached to like the feeling of the chemicals that come from drugs, and then we want more of it, and so we take on more and more and more. One for me is caffeine that I do quite a bit, for better or worse. Sometimes it gives me a little zing and helps me get going. But I also recognize that when I don't have it, I still can be as productive. But it's almost like it's a better productive. Whereas coffee, it's like there's a little more on-demand control of it, but it's a lower quality productive. So back into like the overall idea that I was talking about is whether when we use these drugs, or when we make these drugs, if we understand the balance that we have, and if we are happy with the balance. So like if you, for example, are self-sustained, you're not dependent on any drugs, because in reality your body is, you're eating healthy food, you're sleeping enough, and your body creates these drugs, which or these chemicals, or whatever you want to call them, that create your life and create your experience and create your happy or your low and your high and whatever. And So like if we're really self-contained, you know, and it just comes naturally to us. And then sometimes we just like, you know, smoke a little weed just to get a little funny or something, for example. Or you drink a little coffee just because you like the feeling, you know, not because you need that little zing to get going in the morning, but just because you like it. Or because it's just an experience you want to have, is that rush. As opposed to waking up in the morning and needing the coffee, coming home from a hard day and needing to smoke weed, or needing to take a drink to relax, to unwind, whatever it is. That's the key differentiation, is needing versus choosing to enjoy something. And don't delude yourself on this. Don't be like, if you need something, if you really honestly do need something, don't find yourself like making excuses like, oh, I don't need it, you know, and you're just choosing to, when in reality you do. Like, kind of like fooling yourself that you're in control of the situation when you're really not. That's totally counterproductive. And in that situation, the only way to be in control of the situation is to recognize that you're out of control of it. So it's a funny little paradox, but or at least recognizing the honest depth of the effect that it's having on you. And then, like, afterwards, you can choose whether to keep doing it or not doing it. But the point of this video was to kind of point you or help you recognize, if you want to, that you can be yourself, like a generator of all these positive, you know, emotions within you. Totally self-reliant, maybe. Yeah, I mean, you are going to rely on the resources like good food and good sleep and, you know, good relationships and like a stimulating environment to get these. But it's like, it's almost better when you have to work for it like that, as opposed to just having, you know, pressing a button and getting your dopamine fix or getting your caffeine fix or whatever. It's almost better to like have like a strong foundation, to be on a level playing field with yourself, and allow your body to produce these positive emotions. And then after it's done, since everything came naturally, there's very little imbalance to it. So it's getting really dark, really hard to see me. I'm going to end the talk there, and I hope you glean something from that, or at least it helped you like look at yourself in a new way, or look at the world in a new way, because it's really ugly when people are totally dependent on, you know, drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. For one, it takes all the fun out of it. Like, there's no fun in, you know, drinking every night. There's no fun, like, if you abuse, you know, marijuana too much, or any drug for that matter. And two, it's depressing, like, that a person, like, such a powerhouse of energy and, you know, a wealth of, like, mental power and, you know, potential has been brought down to, like, such a low level as that. And then the other thing is, it just like fucks with your ability to coordinate your life in a happy, prosperous, and enlightened manner. You know, it really messes with your harmony with those around you, destroys your foundation both physically, which is a huge thing. Like, it'll erode your teeth, it'll, like, an imbalance of drugs and stuff will, you know, mess with your brain, and you'll find yourself, just look at people who have solid addictions. Like, not only do they have physical problems, they have, financial trouble and stuff like that. Whereas people without addictions generally move on to stuff that's more fulfilling, more long-term prosperous, more, they use more of their human potential, and they generally live happier lives. So that's just something to think about. I mean, it baffles me when people get themselves in this situation and don't wake the fuck up. And I understand why, but at the same time, I don't accept that reason, because I almost feel like it's an excuse, because they think the world is too scary, which is true. The world is scary, but you got to desensitize yourself to that scariness and go out and live. Like, you can't fuck around in your self-destruction. So that's all I have to say. Hope you guys have a good night. Thank you very much.